Today is Saturday, March 28th of 2020. Welcome to Backstage with Millionaires. I'm Caleb, your host, and today we're going to be talking about some of the latest news that's been happening in India's startup ecosystem over the course of the last week. Now, it has been a bit of a slow week, a bit of a weird week, seeing as the country is currently under lockdown because of the coronavirus. So people are working from home and business is happening. It's just happening a little bit more slowly than it usually does. I think people are still kind of transitioning into this work from home lifestyle. And actually we made a video about that lifestyle and what it means for the future of working in India in a video recently. You can go check that out up here if you're interested in watching it. But the first news item that I wanted to talk to you guys about was that BigBasket has acquired milk delivery startup DailyNinja. With this acquisition, BigBasket is looking to consolidate their hyper-local subscription-based delivery business, BbDaily, which focuses on daily essentials like dairy and other groceries. Up until the point when the coronavirus started to seriously impact the way that people were living their lives, BbDaily was making about 160,000 deliveries every single day. And now with this acquisition of DailyNinja, they'll be able to add the 110,000 customers that DailyNinja had on their platform, as well as the 2,000 milkmen that they were working with across the country. BigBasket is predicting that BbDaily is going to grow by 1.5 to 2x over the course of the next 12 months. Part of this has to do with their acquisition of DailyNinja, but another part of it has to do with the coronavirus. Thanks to the government-imposed lockdown, which is intended to slow the spread of the coronavirus, people are ordering groceries online more than ever before. And as a result, grocery delivery startups are seeing rapid growth in their businesses. That being said, this increase in demand is unprecedented, and pretty much every grocery delivery startup at this point is struggling quite a bit to meet that demand. They're facing issues ranging from supply chain problems to a decrease in quality control to slow delivery times. And so hopefully this acquisition of DailyNinja will lighten BigBasket's load and make it easier for them to meet the needs of their customers moving forward during this pandemic. Also, in the long run, BigBasket is hoping that this acquisition will help them to reach break even earlier than they had expected to. Generally speaking, grocery delivery startups are actually benefiting from the coronavirus. However, some other markets aren't so lucky. For example, tourism and hospitality. As a result of this, Make My Trip Group's CEO Rajesh Megho and its executive chairman Deep Kalra have decided to take no salaries starting from April 2020. Apart from these two leaders, Make My Trip's entire leadership team will also be reducing their salaries by 50% in order to support the business. In a similar move, Paytm's founder and CEO Vijay Shekhar Sharma took to Twitter to announce that he'll be foregoing his salary for the next 2 months and has committed that money to helping his staff. Hopefully the actions of these leaders has a trickle-down effect and other leaders from other companies follow suit, because let's face it, drastic times call for drastic measures. All right, next up in the news, according to the National Restaurant Association of India, 95% of the restaurants in the country are closed due to the lockdown. Now, of course, this is really bad news for these restaurants, but it's also really bad news for food delivery platforms like Zomato and Swiggy. And according to the Economic Times, orders on these platforms are already down by 60%. Now, during last week's news video, we talked about how Deepinder Goyal, the CEO and co-founder of Zomato, had taken to Twitter to announce that Zomato would be offering contactless food delivery. Now, at this point, 1 week later, pretty much every food delivery platform is offering this form of delivery, whether it's Domino's, McDonald's, Swiggy, and Zomato. However, in spite of this option, people are becoming quite hesitant to order food from these platforms in the first place, which is also contributing to this 60% decrease in orders. And to make matters worse, it has been reported that a couple of food delivery agents have been harassed by the police for being out on the roads during this lockdown, in spite of the fact that home delivery of food is actually listed as one of the permissible essential services during this lockdown. And on top of that, there's actually a couple of states here in India that have ordered these food delivery platforms to completely shut down during the lockdown. An interesting little side note here is that the Greater Chennai Corporation, which is a civic body that governs operations in Chennai, took to Twitter to clarify that while cooked food could not be delivered during this lockdown, groceries, vegetables, fruits, stuff like that could be delivered. A lot of people are wondering if they can or if they can't go out to buy themselves groceries, right? Everyone's seeing the videos of people being hit by the police and no one wants to be in that situation. But at the same time, the government did say not to hoard food. And so people potentially in the next couple of days or weeks, or already right now, might be running out of food. So, what are the options here? One, you go out and you're risking your health and your safety, and potentially you're risking getting in trouble with the cops, to go buy you and your family groceries, right? The other option is to order from these grocery delivery startups. However, that's not always a reliable solution either, because a lot of things are out of stock. Sometimes it takes several days for things to reach you, and maybe you need that thing right now, which might push you in the direction of going out on your own 2 feet. But what if there was another option? What if there was the option to order food right now, today, in the next hour? And that has always been the option that Indians have had with Zomato and Swiggy, right? But now with restaurants being shut down, it's making even that option a little bit tricky. So people are confused. They don't know what to do. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt, but I think that the government should be supporting these food delivery startups instead of trying to shut them down. Yes, it might look like a bit of a risk when you look at the situation from the outside. You're thinking about the kitchens. Are the staff in the kitchens wearing masks? Are they wearing gloves? Are they, infecting the food with the coronavirus? And so then it's, spreading out. Delivery partners are picking up the food, so they're getting the virus, and then they're going back to their families. And then maybe, you as the end customer, you're eating this food, and then you're getting the coronavirus. That's what it might look like from the outside looking in. However, I think that these startups are more than willing to cooperate. They're more than willing to sort of take extra steps and extra measures just to continue to exist, right? At this point, 60% decline in orders, that's a really bad situation for them to be in. So I'm sure that if the government gave them an option and said, look, as long as you're willing to do X, Y, Z, as long as you're willing to jump through the hoops, you can continue to operate and you can continue to bring people food. I think that's the bottom line. That might end up being the collapse of the purpose of this lockdown, right? Where people need food. That's the one thing that they need. We have electricity, we have water, we have pretty much everything that we need. We can work from home, we've got Wi-Fi. But what about food, right? People are going outside and they're going to grocery stores, they're going to maybe markets, they're going to places that they shouldn't be going to, and they're congregating with other people that are in the same boat. And to me, it looks like this is a problem that could potentially be solved by Zomato and Swiggy and some of these other food delivery platforms, right? Where there's this gap and it needs to be filled. People should be staying home. They shouldn't be going to the stores to buy food, but they need food, right? So maybe Zomato and Swiggy could be delivering that food. I don't know. Maybe this is a solution that the government will implement in the next couple of weeks as we move forward with this lockdown. And my guess is that the lockdown will be extended even further. That's just my prediction. It's gone from being a 1-day thing to then being a week-long thing to then a 21-day thing. So, it seems like the government is sort of just easing people into this slowly. If they said right off the bat 21 days, people would freak out, right? So they said 1 day, then 1 week. Probably it's going to be extended. So people are going to need food. And I think that, like I said before, Zomato and Swiggy could definitely fill this gap. And hopefully the government sees that opportunity and they start teaming up with these companies to bring Indians their food. All right, next up in the news, according to a report from the Financial Times, Facebook is in talks with Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Jio to buy a 10% stake in the company. Reliance Jio is currently valued at $60 billion by analysts at Bernstein. So if this deal goes through, it could easily fetch the company a couple of $1 billion. As of the last financial year, Reliance Jio's parent company, Reliance Industries, had accumulated a massive debt of $22 billion. Reliance Industries has been selling its assets in an effort to eliminate this debt by the end of the financial year 2021. And so this deal with Facebook, if it did go through, would certainly contribute to this effort. Reliance has already sold 20% of its stake in its oil and chemicals business to Saudi Aramco, and 100% of its tower infrastructure business to Canada's Brookfield Infrastructure Partners for 25,000 crores. That's 250 billion rupees. With more than 370 million subscribers, Reliance Jio is India's top telecom operator. And so this partnership would certainly help Facebook to expand its presence in the country. India is expected to grow its internet user base from 450 million in 2017 to about about $850 million by 2022, according to a PwC report. So needless to say, India is a crucial market for Facebook and its online chat platform, WhatsApp. With more than 400 million users in India, WhatsApp is expected to launch its payment service as well. So this deal would not only enable Facebook to access millions of new users coming online for the first time, but it would also help them to take their services deeper into the market by accessing millions of Reliance Jio subscribers. All right, moving on to some funding news now. Health and wellness startup CureFit has raised $110 million from investors like TEMASEK Holdings, Accel, Curate Ventures, and Unilever Ventures. After raising $120 million in its previous funding round, CureFit was valued at more than $575 million. And so while the details of this latest funding round haven't been disclosed, CureFit is definitely inching closer to becoming India's first health and wellness unicorn. So these funds will not only act as a morale boost for fellow entrepreneurs, but also show the confidence of investors in India's startup ecosystem. All right, next up in the funding news, Veritas Finance, which is an NBFC, has raised $49 million in its Series E round from investors like NORWEST Venture Partners, Kedara Capital, and Lok Capital. It's expected that Veritas will be using these latest funds to expand into existing markets and also to help fulfill the capital needs for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. Founded by Arumani Duraisamy in 2015, Veritas Finance focuses on micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises by providing them with working capital and fulfilling their business credit requirements in order to help them run their businesses. So far, the company has expanded its loan book to more than 1,300 crores, that's 13 billion rupees, and has served nearly 50,000 customers. With the coronavirus having a huge impact on small businesses across the country, lenders like Veritas Finance can help these businesses in fulfilling their short-term needs. All right, next up in the funding news, B2B e-commerce unicorn Udaan has raised $30 million from its parent company, TrustRoot Internet. While Udaan has been among the fastest growing startups in the country, its losses have also been soaring. During the financial year 2019, Udaan reported a loss of 779 crores compared to just 60 crores in the previous financial year. That's more than a 10x growth in losses. Founded by Amod Malviya, Sujit Kumar, and Vaibhav Gupta in 2016, Udaan provides a technology platform for small traders and retailers to buy and sell products in a hassle-free manner and to help them grow their business. With the coronavirus lockdown situation, a majority of small businesses have been forced to close shop. And so even though Udaan has raised nearly $900 million across multiple funding rounds, the startup will need to control its expenses in order to ride out the coronavirus pandemic. And the last piece of funding news that I have for you guys this week is that digital payments platform MobiKwik has also raised $30 million in the form of equity and debt capital. Now, who invested these funds is unknown, but it's expected that they'll be used to fuel MobiKwik's growth and expansion plans. Unlike its heavily funded rival, Paytm, MobiKwik has failed to raise enough capital from its investors to stay competitive in the digital payments space. Compared to over $4 billion raised by Paytm, MobiKwik has only managed to raise $149 million. Founded by husband-wife duo Bipinpreet Singh and Upasna Taku in 2009, MobiKwik offers multiple financial services including digital payments, insurance, digital lending, and mutual fund investments. And they claim to have more than 107 million users on their platform. While businesses across the country are suffering, the scare of coronavirus has pushed a lot of people towards using digital payments. And so this might be an opportunity for MobiKwik to expand its reach and gain more users. All right, that is all the startup news that I have for you guys this week. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I would love to hear your thoughts on some of the things that we talked about today in a comment down below. For example, the food situation right now during the lockdown. If you're here in India, I would love to hear from you about what's been going on in your life with regards to food. Did you go out and hoard a bunch of food even though the government told you not to? You probably feel very safe and comfortable right now if you did. Or are you on the other side of the spectrum where maybe you are really living hand to mouth right now and you've only got the basics and maybe in a week's time or less, you're going to be out of food, and so you're relying on these food delivery startups like BigBasket, like Grofers, like Swiggy or Zomato for your daily sustenance. Let me know in a comment down below. I would love to hear from you about that. Also curious to know your thoughts on these leaders of these companies like Make My Trip Group and Paytm deciding to forego their salaries. Personally, I think that that's a really noble thing to do, especially when you consider the fact that they probably have a substantial amount of money in their bank accounts. They're not too worried about not being able to survive the length of this pandemic, whereas maybe some of their employees are. right? So yeah, please do leave a comment about anything that we talked about in this video. We love to get your feedback and we love to respond to it. As many of you have left a comment know, we try to get back to pretty much every comment, every positive comment that we get on this channel. Also, please do share this video with anybody that you think would be interested in it. We're trying to get more eyes on these videos so that people can stay informed about what's happening here in India in the startup ecosystem during the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic. So would love it if you could share this video. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Backstage with Millionaires, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands lots, and also stay home.